Hi, I'm Taste of Home expert instructor Nikki, and I'm really excited to be here with our friend and baking wizard, Amy Broussard, and together we're going to share a surprise twist for making a homemade carrot layer cake that's even more delicious than the one you might find in your bakery.
That's right, Nikki. This cake is loved by so many people because of the combination of sweet and savory ingredients like shredded carrots, chopped nuts, raisins, and a tangy cream cheese frosting. Sounds typical, right? The recipe we'll be making is anything but, and we'll show you why that twist makes it extra special.
It all sounds so good. So let's get to it. Now we've got a heavy saucepan here, and Amy, if you could do some whisking for me, we're gonna make a filling that's considered really unique for this classic beauty. So I have 1 cup of sugar. We don't have the heat on yet. We're gonna turn that on in a bit. 2 tablespoons of flour. This is going to act as a thickener. And we have a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Just give that a whisk together. To that, once that's all combined, we're going to add 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. Just get that whisked up. Once that kind of comes together, then we're going to add a 1/2 cup of butter. I know this looks a little odd at this point, but hang in there with us. It'll make sense in just a minute. We're going to slide this in. Try not to splash you. Now we're going to put this over medium heat. We're going to cook this until the butter melts and the cream starts to boil. Then we're going to turn the heat down to low and let it simmer uncovered for about 15 minutes or until it thickens up. You do want to make sure that you give it a stir from time to time just so that nothing sticks to the bottom of the pan. Okay, you can see the mixture's at a boil, so I'm going to reduce the heat to a simmer and we'll let this cook uncovered for about 15 minutes just to thicken up. So you can see that as the mixture reduced, it started to thicken and become really creamy, and that's just what we wanted. So I'm going to turn off the heat, and we have 2 more things to add. I have 1 cup of chopped pecans and a teaspoon of vanilla extract.
And Nikki, I went ahead and switched out our whisk to a spatula just to make combining this a little easier.
Awesome. All right, now we're going to set this aside to cool while we make the cake batter. And Amy, would you do the honors?
I would love to. So we're going to add 1 1/4 cup of canola oil, 2 cups of sugar, into a really large bowl where we're going to beat until we get it really well combined.
So we're going to need 4 cups of finely shredded carrots, which we're just grating on a box grater, and we're using the fine holes of a box grater.
Then in a separate bowl, we're going to whisk in our dry ingredients, which are 2 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of salt.
That looks good. I love the flavor of cinnamon in carrot cake. Carrot cake, I think, is my favorite cake.
I love carrot cake. So while we get this whisked together, now we're ready to head over to our wet mixture and add in our dry ingredients. Nikki, if you could help me out, we'll need to add in 4 eggs, and I'll be sure to mix until they're well combined. But let's get the dry ingredients going first.
Sounds good. Get this combined.
Get this combined.
That canola oil is really going to make for a very moist cake.
And Nikki, if you could grab a spatula for me.
Absolutely.
We're just going to scrape down the sides of our bowl.
Can I do that for you?
Yes.
Okay, great.
There we go. And we're just about ready for the eggs.
Okay, you tell me when.
I think we're good.
Okay, so I'll just add 1 at a time, and we'll beat them in until they're nice and combined.
Okay, there's 1.
1 more. Okay. Last one. I'll just add that right.
Thank
There
you.
we go. You're welcome. All right, Amy, the batter looks great. It's almost done, but of course we need to add some carrots for our carrot cake. So I have the carrots that I just shredded. I'm just going to add these in with the others. Again, this is 4 cups of finely shredded carrots. And we'll just put that right in. Now we also have 1 cup of raisins, a little sweetness and a little bit of chewiness. Very classic for a carrot cake. As well as a cup of chopped pecans. So now this looks like carrot cake. And I will bring over our pans. We have 3 greased and floured 9-inch round baking pans, which we've already prepared. Once you feel like everything is mixed up, we can start to divide the batter amongst the pans.
Okay, I think we're just about ready.
It looks great. Okay, so if I hold the bowl, will you scrape it out? Okay, super. That looks about good for this one. We can always go back in and even them out after the batter is divided.
Okay.
So this is going to be a 3-layer cake. As you can see, that's why we're using 3 pans. We won't have to cut any of these layers in half, which is really nice. I have to say, I love baking. It's so relaxing. Okay, we'll bake these in a 350-degree oven for 30 to 35 minutes or until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. Thank you, Amy. Slide these in. Okay, now for the hard part. We have to wait. Amy, it smells so good in here, just like a bakery, but I have to say it's so nice that we're in our own kitchen.
I agree. Making a cake like this from scratch at home makes it even more special and impressive.
Absolutely. So as you see, I have just taken the cakes out of their pans. We're going to let them cool completely on a wire rack before we frost them. And speaking of frosting, let's get going on our cream cheese frosting, which is my favorite part of a carrot cake. So we have 3/4 cup of softened butter. If you could add that right into the mixer. And we have 6 ounces of softened cream cheese and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now we're just going to beat this on medium speed for about 2 to 3 minutes or until it's light and fluffy. So Amy, I'm just going to scrape down the sides. This looks really good. We're almost there. Give that another little beat. Okay, this looks just right. So Amy, if you could reduce the speed to low, we are going to start adding 3 cups of confectioner sugar, but we're only going to add about a 1/2 cup at a time. This way we'll get a nice smooth frosting, and we also won't end up with powdered sugar all over our clothes. Exactly. So Amy, I think this looks perfect. It is very thick and creamy. Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
I think we are ready to assemble our masterpiece.
So now that our cakes are cooled, we're ready for my favorite part. We're going to spread the filling between the cooled cake layers and stack to make a 3-layer cake. Then we'll cover the entire cake with the cream cheese frosting. Let's get started with the filling.
That filling is going to taste so good.
So you'll find that using an offset spatula for both the filling and the frosting will help you easily push from the center to your edges of your cake.
That looks great. Are you ready for the top layer?
I'm ready.
Okay. And look at how just these cakes are very easy to handle, which is nice. So wow, this is a masterpiece.
3rd layer.
Okay, and you're ready for the frosting?
I'm ready for the frosting. Again, you want to just add a really big mound of frosting to the center of the cake. And then, again, with your favorite offset spatula, begin from the center of the cake and work the frosting out towards the edges. It's important not to ever let the spatula touch the cake. So you want to start with a really large amount of frosting.
This way you won't get any crumbs in your frosting. What's nice about doing it on the pedestal stand too is you can always twist it. If you find that you need to turn the cake to get things even, you can just kind of turn it as you go.
Now that the cake is iced, you can store it covered in the refrigerator until you're ready to slice and serve. I like to put a few toothpicks in the top of the cake so that the plastic wrap doesn't stick to the frosting.
That is a great tip. I've got some plastic wrap here. We'll just loosely cover this, and I will take it to the fridge. Wow, the contrast of sweet and tangy flavors and moist and dense textures makes this simple carrot layer cake really stand out. And in this particular recipe, you'll have the added twist of a cream and pecan layer filling that takes the cake to a whole new level. We think this cake will be pretty hard to resist.